Listen to me. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. You hear me? Some of you started the year with energy. You had goals, you had dreams. But somewhere along the line, you got tired, distracted, discouraged. Life hit you. But let me tell you something. Champions don't quit in the middle. Warriors don't tap out when it gets hard. You gotta dig deep and finish strong. You think the greats only worked when it was easy? No, they pushed when they were tired. They ran when their legs were shaking. Why? Because they understood. How you finish determines how they remember you. You might have messed up. You might have fallen short. But you still have time. Time to rewrite the story. Time to show your heart. Time to finish strong. So get up, lock in, sacrifice, hustle, cry if you must, but don't you dare quit. You were born to finish strong. Let's go. Most people have no problem starting something. A new year rolls around and people flood the gyms, set resolutions, map out goals, and make promises to themselves. There's an energy that comes with new beginnings, a fire, something that makes you feel invincible. But here's the truth. Starting is easy. Everybody can start. What separates the average from the great, what divides the talkers from the doers, is the ability to finish. You see, when we start something new, it's exciting. The journey ahead looks fresh and full of potential. There's no resistance yet. The vision is clear, the motivation is high, and it feels like nothing can get in our way. But then life shows up. Distractions come, challenges surface. The energy starts to fade. That same goal that had you jumping out of bed in January is now the same goal you buried under excuses by March. Because the truth is, the hype always dies. The motivation wears off, but the work remains. Finishing requires a different kind of muscle, a mental toughness, a level of commitment that says, even when I don't feel like it, I'm showing up. Because showing up once is easy. Showing up every single day, when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when you're not seeing results. That's the real test. That's where most people fall off. Not because they didn't have the talent, not because they weren't capable, but because they never learned how to endure. They never trained themselves to push past the emotion and stay consistent in the grind. You don't become great by starting something. You become great by finishing what you started. Think about every person you look up to, every athlete, entrepreneur, artist, or leader. They didn't just begin with big dreams. They followed through. They stayed the course when it was uncomfortable. They showed resilience in the face of failure. Starting got them on the field, but finishing earned them the respect, the success, the legacy. A lot of people confuse inspiration with transformation. Inspiration gets you moving, but only discipline gets you results. There's a crowd of people who love to start. New businesses, new habits, new ideas. But the problem is, they built a lifestyle of quitting. They're professional starters and habitual quitters. They never stay in the fight long enough to see the reward. And so they live in a cycle of restarting over and over again, never seeing progress, never reaching the level they're truly capable of. You have to be honest with yourself. Are you committed or are you just curious? Are you in it for the long haul or just a honeymoon phase? Because finishing requires sacrifice. It demands that you stay focused when everyone else is distracted. It calls for discipline on the days when you rather take the easy way out. It means showing up on the days you're drained because your purpose is bigger than your feelings. You have to understand, life will test you. It will test whether you're serious or just playing games. It'll test whether you want it badly enough to keep going when nobody's clapping for you, when there's no recognition, when the results are slow. Most people quit when the applause fades. But real growth, real success happens in the quiet moments, when it's just you, your work, and your will to keep pushing. And let me tell you something, there's power in finishing. There's something that happens inside you when you cross that finish line, when you honor your word, when you complete the thing you said you would. You build confidence, you gain momentum, you start trusting yourself. Every time you finish what you started, you prove to yourself that you are not like the rest. You are built different. You have grit. You have character. You don't need a crowd. You need a commitment. This isn't just about goals. It's about identity. Finishing transforms how you see yourself. It turns dreams into achievements. It makes you reliable, not only to others, but to yourself. When you become someone who finishes, your entire life starts to shift. People begin to respect you differently. Opportunities open up. Why? Because the world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. Starting is important, yes, but it's the easy part. The hardest part is pushing through when the excitement is gone, when the pressure is high, when the setbacks pile up. That's where champions are made. That's where legends are built. You don't earn a name for yourself by starting 10 things. You earn it by finishing the one thing that everyone else gave up on. And don't think you need to feel perfect to finish. Some of the strongest finishes happen in the weakest moments. Some of the best outcomes come after the ugliest season. You might be limping to the finish line. You might be bruised, tired, undoubting yourself every step of the way. But what matters is that you cross it. What matters is that you don't let quitting become your legacy. Your story is still being written. And just because you started something and fell off doesn't mean it's over. You can pick it back up. You can recommit. You can decide right now that no matter how messy the middle has been, you're gonna finish strong. Because it's not how you started that defines you, it's how you finish. So whatever it is, that degree, that business, that fitness goal, that promise you made to yourself, don't walk away. Don't throw in the towel. You're not done until it's done. And when you do finish, not if, but when, you'll look back and realize that every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice, every moment of doubt, it was all worth it because you proved to yourself that you could. So yeah, starting is easy, but finishing, that's where the greatness lives. Pain is part of the process. That's not a cliche. That's not just a line you put on a poster or filter, unavoidable. If you want to grow, if you want to succeed, if you want to achieve something that matters, then you got to understand this. Pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's your trainer. It's the fire that forges your character. You don't become strong by avoiding pain. You become strong by going through it, facing it, and rising because of it. Everyone wants the results. Everyone wants the dream. Everyone wants the body, the bank account, the business, the respect. But not everyone wants the process. And the process includes pain. The process includes failure. The process includes waking up early when you're exhausted. It includes showing up when you're hurting. It includes sacrifice, rejection, and doubt. It includes silence, when nobody is cheering for you, when you feel alone, when you question if it's even worth it. But that's the cost of greatness. That's the path every champion walks. The pain you feel in the process is the very thing that separates you from everyone else who just talks. Anybody can say they want it. Anybody can write down a goal, but pain demands action. It asks, are you willing to keep going when it gets hard? Are you willing to show up broken? Are you willing to bleed for it? Or because if you're not serious. If you quit when it hurts, you were never all in to begin with. Pain is a signal. It tells you you're growing. Think about it. When you go to the gym and push your muscles to the limit, what happens? You get sore. That soreness is pain, yes, but it's not bad pain. It's necessary. It means you tore something so it could rebuild stronger. That's life. That's goals. That's growth. Whether it's emotional, mental, physical, the discomfort is part of the development. The ones who grow are not the ones who run from, not the ones who run from pain. They're the ones who embrace it. They've learned how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. They've stopped trying to escape the fire. Instead, let the fire refine them. They let the adversity mold their character. They turn losses into lessons. They turn rejection into redirection. And through it all, they become unshakable. Now, here's the part most people don't talk about. Pain is going to come whether you're chasing your dream or staying in your comfort zone. The difference is the kind of pain you're going to feel. You can feel the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You can suffer now and grow later, or take it easy now and suffer later. Either way, pain is coming. But only one path leads to greatness. Discipline hurts. Waking up at 4 Qatar AM to chase your dream hurts. Saying no to distractions, turning down parties, missing out on short-term fun for long-term gain. It all hurts. But so does waking up one day and realizing you wasted your potential. So does looking in the mirror and knowing you settled. So does living a life full of what ifs. That's pain too, only it doesn't make you stronger. It makes you bitter. Choose your pain wisely. Pain also reveals who you are. It strips away the fake. It removes the surface level motivation and tests your core. When everything is going well, it's easy to smile, to show up, to speak confidently. But when you're in pain, when you're in the valley, when everything's going against you, That's when your real self shows up. That's when your character is exposed. Are you someone who fights through it or folds under pressure? Pain isn't just something to survive. It's something to use. You can let it break you or you can let it build you. You can let it push you into depression or let it fuel your purpose. Some of the most successful people on the planet didn't get there in spite of pain. They got there because of it. They took their heartbreak and used it as hunger. They took their failure and used it as fire. They turned their pain into power. You've got to reframe how you see it. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Because pain always has a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you to be more patient. Maybe it's preparing you for something greater. Maybe it's showing you who's really there for you. Or maybe it's reminding you just how bad you want it. Every struggle has something to give you, but you'll only get it if you stop running and start listening. And don't think you're alone in it. Everyone you admire, the athletes, the business leaders, the visionaries, they all went through it. They cried, they doubted, they broke down, but they didn't give up. You're not weak because you feel pain. You're human. What makes you strong is what you do with it. Do you let it define you or do you let it refine you? This road you're on, it's not supposed to be easy. If it were, everyone would do it. If it were, success would mean nothing. But because it's hard, because it's painful, because it demands everything you got, that's why it's worth it. That's what makes finishing so powerful. Not that you got there without a scratch, but that you got there despite the wounds. Pain forces you to grow. It teaches you that you're more resilient than you thought. It shows you your limits and then dares you to break them. It humbles you, then strengthens you. It prepares you for the next level. Without pain, you stay the same. You get soft. You take things for granted. But pain, real pain, keeps you sharp. It keeps you grounded, and it reminds you just how hungry you really are. So the next time it hurts, the next time you feel broken, tired, and like nothing's working, don't run. Don't back down. Look it in the eye. Embrace it. Learn from it. Push through it. Because on the other side of that pain is the version of you that's stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more focused, and more powerful. Greatness has a price, and pain is part of the payment. So if you're hurting right now, that means you're in the process. That means you're becoming. And when you make it through, when you look back, you'll realize that the pain didn't stop you. It shaped you. Most people start with excitement. They start with energy. They're pumped up, talking big, making promises, setting goals, posting about their grind. And don't get it twisted. Starting is important. You've got to begin somewhere. But let me tell you something even more important than how you start, how you finish. Because starting is easy. Everybody can start, but finishing, that takes endurance. That takes grit. That takes grit. That takes a calm resilience. That doesn't depend on feelings. It depends on commitment. The reason finishing is rare is because the journey gets real. When you first set a goal, your vision is clear. The path looks bright and your motivation is high. But as you go, life starts throwing punches. Things don't go according to plan. The road gets bumpy. People disappoint you. Progress slows down. You get tired. You start questioning yourself. And that's where most people quit. Not because they weren't capable, but because they weren't consistent. Consistency is a separator. It's what turns potential into performance. Talent might help you start. Motivation might help you start, but only consistency will help you finish. You can't rely on emotions. You can't rely on inspiration. You gotta be disciplined enough to show up on the days when it's boring, when it's painful, when it's quiet, when no one is clapping for you, when no one sees the hours you're putting in. That's when consistency is built, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna fall off sometimes. But what matters is that you get back up and keep going. You don't have to be the best every day. You just have to keep showing up. You just have to keep taking steps forward. Because even a small step every day is better than a giant leap once a month. The power isn't in what you do once. It's in what you do daily. Consistency is a habit. It's not a move. It's a mindset that says, I don't care how I feel. I'm still going to get it done. It's brushing your teeth every day, not just when you feel like it. It's going to the gym even when you're sore. It's studying even when your brain is tired. It's putting in the reps over and over until mastery is your default. Because success is not one big moment. It's the sum of thousands of small decisions made with discipline. Look at anybody who has accomplished something meaningful, and you'll find consistency at the core of their story. Athletes who train through injury, entrepreneurs who grind through failure, artists who create through doubt. None of them got there overnight. They got there because they kept showing up. They got there because they understood that greatness isn't built in spurts, it's built in systems. Systems of daily habits, systems of accountability, systems of discipline. Let me break this down even further. Consistency isn't always exciting. In fact, it's often repetitive. It can feel mundane. It can feel like nothing's happening. You keep working, keep trying, and it seems like the results aren't coming. But that's where the breakthrough is forming quietly, slowly, beneath the surface, like a seed underground. It looks like nothing's growing. But keep watering, keep showing up. Eventually, it sprouts. Eventually, it breaks through. But only for those who stay consistent long enough to see it bloom. This is why you need a strong why. If your reason is weak, your consistency will be weak. You need a purpose that pulls you, that wakes you up, that makes quitting not an option. Your why has to be bigger than your feelings, bigger than your fear, bigger than your fatigue. Because when your why is power, consistency becomes natural. You're not just working toward a goal, you're working to become the kind of person who finishes what they start. Consistency doesn't just build results, it builds confidence. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you're telling yourself, I can trust me. You're proving to yourself that you're reliable, that you're disciplined, that you can do hard things. That confidence multiplies. And pretty soon, you start attacking bigger goals with more belief. You stop needing external validation because you built an internal standard, a standard that says, I finish what I start. And here's the thing, consistency is contagious. When you show up with excellence over and over, people start noticing. Opportunities start opening, doors start unlocking. Doors start unlocking. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you delivered the longest. Reputation is built through consistency. Trust is built through consistency. And trust is what leads to impact. You can't influence anyone if they don't trust your follow through. Now, this doesn't mean you can never pivot. Sometimes you realize a goal or path isn't right for you. That's fine. But there's a difference between quitting because something no longer aligns with your values. Ain't quitting because it got hard. Don't confuse discomfort with misalignment. Growth is uncomfortable. Excellence uncomfortable. But if the goal still matters to you, fight for it. Stay locked in. Be consistent on purpose. People think they need more motivation, but most of the time what they really need is a routine, a system, a schedule that keeps them aligned even when motivation fades. Set your environment up for success. Reminders where you can see them. Track your habits. Celebrate the small wins. Build momentum through movement. Because when you make consistency convenient, results become inevitable. Let's be real. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to wake you up. Nobody's going to hold your hand. You've got to take ownership of your dream. And the most powerful way to own your dream is to be consistent with it. That means doing it when it's hard, doing it when it's slow, doing it when nobody is watching. That's how legacies are built brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. There's a saying, success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. That's the truth. You can't post one video and expect to go viral. You can't go to the gym twice and expect abs. You can't read one book and expect wisdom. You got to live in the process. You got to show up daily. You got to respect the grind. When you're consistent, the results will come, but not always on your timeline. That's the test. Can you keep going even when the payoff is delayed? Can you trust the process even when it's silent? The world tells you that success should be fast, but real success, sustainable success is slow. It takes time to build something that lasts, and only those who are consistent enough to outlast the delay will ever see the reward. So today, make a choice. Decide that you won't be someone who just starts. You'll be someone who finishes. Decide that you're not chasing a moment. You're building a lifestyle. Decide that no matter how you feel, you'll keep going. Because consistency is your superpower. It's the trait that will carry you when motivation fades. when emotions fluctuate, when life gets hard. Finish strong, not just because you want to win, but because you said you would. Let consistency be your character. Let it be the proof of your passion. Let it be the reason why, when people talk about reliability, your name comes up. Because while others are starting and stopping, you'll still be going. And when the dust settles, you won't just be remembered as someone who began with excitement. You'll be remembered as someone who finished with excellence. When you get to the end of a journey, you don't want to limp across the finish line full of regret, disappointment, or excuses. You want to cross it with pride, with your head high, with a heart full of fire, knowing you gave everything you had. That's what finishing strong means. It means refusing to let fatigue, distractions, or setbacks rob you of your full potential. It means staying true to the mission, even when it's tough, even when it's silent, even when it feels like no one else cares. Because how you end something speaks louder than how you began. The world remembers the finish. You might be tired. Life might have hit you hard. You might have started the year, the project, or the journey full of goals and dreams, but somewhere along the way, things change. You got discouraged, you got distracted, you lost focus. Maybe you even stopped believing. But listen to me, you're still here. That means the game isn't over. That means you still have time. That means no matter how you started, no matter what you've lost, no matter what people said about you, you still have the power to finish strong. There's a reason the last lap of a race is the hardest. That's where champions are made. That's when your body is screaming to quit, when your mind is begging for rest, when everything in you says, I've done enough. But champions don't listen to that voice. Champions dig deep. Champions remind themselves of why they started. Champions don't look for an easy way out. They look for the strength to push through. And that's what you have to do. You've come too far to stop now. You fought too many battles to let the end slip away. Finishing strong requires a mindset shift. You've got to stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like a finisher. You've got to stop blaming the world for your position and start owning your choices. There's no room for pity at the finish line. Only proof that you were willing to go the distance, proof that you stayed focused, proof that you refused to let pressure break you. Pressure reveals character, and the pressure of the finish line reveals whether you're truly committed to your vision or just in love with the idea of success. See, anyone can be committed when things are going well. Anyone can be locked in when they're winning. But the true test of commitment, what you do when it feels like you're losing, when the path isn't clear, when the people around you aren't cheering, that's when you find out if your goals are just words, if they're non-negotiable. That's when finishing strong becomes a decision, not an emotion. A decision to give everything, even if no one sees it. A decision to pour out your heart, even if there's no applause. And understand this, finishing strong is not about perfection. It's not about having everything go right. It's about refusing to give up no matter what went wrong. You might have fallen off your plan. You might have wasted time. You might have doubted yourself. That's okay. What matters is what you do now. What matters is that you make a choice right here and right now to close the gap between who you've been and who you want to be. That gap is closed not in one massive action, but in a series of focused, determined steps taken daily, regardless of how you feel. Emotions are real, but they're not reliable. If you wait to feel ready, you'll never finish. If you wait for ideal circumstances, you'll never complete the race. That's why people don't finish strong. They keep waiting for the stars to align, for motivation to return, for someone to push them. But no one's coming to save you. This is your race, your dream, your responsibility. And that's good news, because it means you don't have to wait on anyone else. You have everything you need inside of you to finish strong. But finishing strong doesn't just happen by accident. It takes strategy. It takes intention. You've got to protect your focus. You've got to say no to distractions. You've got to remove excuses. Sometimes that means cutting off things that drain you. Sometimes that means walking away from people who don't align with your vision. Finishing strong means prioritizing your purpose over your pleasure. It means scheduling your grind instead of waiting to feel inspired. It means being ruthless with your time and relentless in your follow through. And don't forget, finishing strong also means finishing your race, not someone else's. Too many people get caught up comparing their journey to someone else's timeline, but you can't measure your finish line by someone else's math. You're not in competition with them. You're in competition with who you were yesterday. And your only goal should be to close the gap between your current self and your best self. Finishing strong is about being the best. It's about being better. It's about being better. Stronger than you were. More disciplined, more focused, more committed than you were. Sometimes the hardest part about finishing strong is believing that you still can. Life has a way of draining our belief. It knocks us down and whispers lies that say we're not enough, that we've missed our chance, that it's too late. But let me be clear, not too late. As long as you're breathing, there's still time. Time to refocus, time to rebuild, time to reclaim your power. You're not too far gone. You're not disqualified. You're not broken beyond repair. You're still in the fight. You're still capable. And most importantly, you're still needed. This world needs people who finish, people who keep promises to themselves, people who don't let their circumstance define their outcome, people who lead by example, not with empty words, but with powerful action. The world is full of starters, full of dreamers, but what it lacks are finishers. People who push through, people who deliver, people who complete what they begin. That's who you're called to be. That's the legacy you're meant to leave. And when you finish strong, it's not just about you. It's about the people watching, the people counting on you, your children, your team, your community, your future self. Finishing strong sends a message that's I'm reliable, I'm dependable, I can be trusted with the vision. It creates momentum, it inspires belief. It opens doors for others to walk through because they saw you keep going when it got hard. So take a breath. Wipe the sweat from your face, square your shoulder, and lock in. The finish line is close, and it doesn't matter how far behind you feel. What matters is that you don't stop. Don't crawl when you can run. Don't sleep when you can rise. Don't coast when you can charge forward. This is your time, your moment, your opportunity to prove to yourself and the world that you are not defined by how you started, but by how you finish. Finish strong for your goals, for your growth, for your legacy, for your future. You got what it takes. Now show the world what it looks like to finish with purpose, with power, with pride, because you're not just someone who had potential. You're someone who fulfilled it. You have to understand something powerful. Your past does not define your future. What's behind you doesn't get to determine what's ahead of you, unless you let it. Far too many people carry the weight of their failures, their regrets, and their disappointments like a heavy backpack everywhere they go. They wear it as a label, not enough, a too late, a failure. But you have to rip those labels off. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your bad decisions. You are not your missed opportunity. You are a work in progress, and progress is still possible. One of the most paralyzing mindsets you can adopt is believing that just because something went wrong yesterday, it has to go wrong today. Just because you failed last time doesn't mean you're doomed to fail again. That's not truth. That's fear talking. That's shame talking. And shame will lie to you, and shame will lie to you every time. Shame will try to convince you that you're stuck, that you've already blown your chance, that your best days are behind you. But let me be real with you. Your best days are ahead if you decide they are. And that decision begins in your mind. The mind is a powerful place. If you live in the past mentally, then that's where your life will stay. If you wake up every day replaying old losses, old conversations, and old wounds, you'll never have the strength to build something new. You'll never find the energy to finish strong if your energy is being drained by what's already over. You have to make peace with the past, not because it was fair, not because it didn't hurt, but because it's over. What's done is done. What matters now is what you do next. You gotta change the story you're telling yourself. Are you telling yourself that you're behind, that you'll never catch up, that you don't deserve to finish strong because you didn't start strong? That mindset will keep you defeated before you even begin. The truth is, everyone has a chapter they don't read out loud. Everyone has something in their past they wish they could erase. But finishing strong isn't about erasing the past. It's about redeeming it. It's about taking what tried to break you and turning it into the fuel that drives you forward. Think about it. Some of the greatest success stories didn't begin with triumph. They began with pain. They began with a rock bottom. They began in a place of failure. But those people didn't stay there. They made a decision to grow, to evolve, to become stronger, wiser, better. And you can make that same decision. You are not disqualified because of what you've been through. You're prepared. You're prepared. Every setback was training. Every mistake was a lesson. Every heartbreak was shaping you. Nothing was wasted unless you choose to waste it. The difference between those who finish strong and those who give up isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not even intelligence. It's mindset. It's the belief that the future can still be different from the past. It's the discipline to keep going, even when you don't feel like you deserve a second chance. It's the courage to try again, knowing you might fail again, but refusing to let that stop you. Because finishing strong isn't about being fearless. It's about pushing through fear. You've got to forgive yourself. I don't care what happened last year, last month, or even yesterday. If you don't forgive yourself, you won't move forward. Self-forgiveness isn't weakness. It's not pretending like the pain didn't happen. It's strength. It's looking in the mirror and saying, yes, I made mistakes, but I'm not a mistake. I fell short, but I'm not staying there. I've got more to do. I've got a purpose to fulfill. You have to talk to yourself like someone worth fighting for because you are. The truth is, growth is messy. It's uncomfortable. It's inconsistent. You will slip. You will struggle. You will question yourself. But that's part of the process. That's part of what makes the finish so powerful, because it wasn't easy. You didn't cruise to the end. You clawed your way there. You endured. You persevered. You matured. And because of that, the victory is even sweeter. Sometimes the biggest battle is not with your circumstances. It's with your self-image. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Do you see someone capable of finishing strong or someone doomed to repeat the past? Your self-image will either fuel your finish or sabotage. That's why you have to renew your mind every day. You have to speak life over yourself. You have to remind yourself of who you really are, not who you used to be, not who they said you were, but who you were created to be. Strong, focused, determined, capable. You are not limited by your past unless you let your past become your identity, and you're not here by accident. There's a reason you're still standing. There's a reason you didn't give up. You've got something inside of you that's stronger than the pain, stronger than the pain, stronger than the regret. That something is your purpose. That something is your fire. That something is the part of you that knows you're meant for more. So no more excuses. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more rehearsing the past like it's your destiny. It's time to break free. It's time to start running again. Maybe not fast, maybe not flawlessly, but forward. Always forward. Because finishing strong isn't about speed. It's about direction. And if you're moving in the right direction, even slowly, you're still on the path to greatness. Let your past be your testimony, not your tombstone. Let it remind you of how far you've come, not how far you fell. You've already survived the worst days of your life. Now it's time to build your best ones. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You don't even need to feel confident. You just need to decide that you're not going to, you just need to decide. When people see you finish strong, they'll ask how you did it, and you'll be able to say, I stopped living in the past. I stopped punishing myself. I got back up. I changed my mindset. I remembered who I am. That's power. That's resilience. That's legacy. So walk forward. Run forward. If you need to, but keep going. The past has no hold on you anymore, unless you turn around and give it permission. Keep your eyes ahead. Keep your spirit strong and finish this thing with everything you've got. Not because your past was perfect, but because your future still has a chance to be. Every journey demands a conclusion, but the kind of ending you write depends entirely on the story you're willing to fight for. Too many people coast into the finish line of life, dragging their regrets behind them like chains, convinced that because they stumbled, they're not allowed to win. But I want you to shift that thinking. I want you to throw away every narrative that says you aren't enough. Because the truth is, the conclusion isn't about perfection. It's about perseverance. It's about who you become by refusing to quit. When you think about what it means to finish strong, I don't want you to think about trophies or applause. I don't want you to picture a crowd cheering or a podium with your name on it. I want you to think about those quiet moments, the ones nobody sees, when you could have stayed down but got back up anyway. The nights when the weight of your past tried to crush your future and you pushed through with just a flicker of belief. The mornings when your reflection didn't look like a champion. You walked like one anyway. That's what it means to finish strong. It means choosing discipline over defeat, faith over fear, effort over excuses. You've got to understand that the strength to finish strong doesn't arrive at the end. It's something you build along the way. And the bricks you build it with are made of your choices. You choose to speak life over your circumstances. You choose to believe in possibility instead of staying stuck in pain. You choose to move, even if your steps are shaky. Because the moment you choose growth, you've already won half the battle. Finishing strong isn't one grand gesture. It's a million small decisions stacked on top of each other. Like stones in a wall you refuse to let fall. There will be people who doubt you. There will be people who bring up your past, who remind you of every failure, every misstep, every flaw. And that's okay. Let them talk. Because while they're talking, you're transforming. While they're pointing fingers, you're pointing forward. While they're stuck in yesterday, you're grinding for tomorrow. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You just owe yourself the commitment to never stop growing. What finishing strong really comes down to is how well you know yourself, not the version others try to define you as, but the real you. The one who has faced storms and scars and setbacks but still wakes up hungry for more. The one who's been misunderstood, overlooked, and underestimated yet keeps showing up. That's who you are. You're not a victim of your past. You're a survivor, a builder, a finisher. Sometimes finishing strong means doing the hard things when nobody's watching. It means setting boundaries. It means staying disciplined when motivation fades. It means sacrificing comfort to chase greatness. You might have to walk away from old habits. You might have to say no to people who want you to stay the same. You might have to isolate for a season so you can elevate in the next. That's the cost of transformation. That's the price of legacy. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than who you used to be. Your conclusion isn't just for you. Someone's watching you. Someone needs your example. Somebody out there is wondering if it's still possible to turn things around, and they're looking at your life to find out. That means finishing strong is bigger than personal pride. It's about purpose. It's about impact. It's about making sure your story sends the message of, yes, I struggled. Yes, I failed. Yes, I almost gave up. But I did. And because I did, you don't have to either. There's a version of you in the future that's waiting for you to show up. That version of you has peace. That version of you has clarity, purpose, and strength. That version of you has overcome the cycles you thought would never break. But you can't meet that version if you stay stuck in shame. You can't become that version if you keep believing the lie that it's too late. Let me tell you, it's not too late. As long as you have breath in your body, there is time to rewrite the ending. There is time to create something meaningful. There is time to start again. Not from the beginning, but from wisdom, from maturity, from experience. You have what it takes. Not because everything is perfect in your life, but because you've been equipped through your pain. Your journey didn't happen to punish you. It happened to prepare you. Every tear, every heartbreak, every closed door gave you something. Perspective, tenacity, resilience. Now it's your turn to take all of that and turn it into action. The time for waiting is over. The time for wishing is over. Now is the time to move with urgency, to wake up with purpose, to finish with fire. Your legacy will not be determined by how flawless your path was. It will be determined by how faithful you were to keep walking, even when the path wasn't clear, even when the support wasn't there, even when everything you said quit, you kept going. That's how you finish strong. You do it by embracing the hard parts, by learning from the mess, by refusing to let the end of your story be written by fear. You don't need a grand moment of inspiration to begin. You just need to make a choice to show up, a choice to take the next right step, a choice to hold yourself to a higher standard, not because others expect it, but because you deserve it. You deserve to see what's possible when you give it everything you've got. You deserve to experience what happens when you stop doubting and start doing. Maybe you were counted out. Maybe life knocked you down more times than you can count. Maybe the road ahead looks long and uncertain, but none of that disqualifies you. In fact, it's the very reason why your finish will be powerful, because you overcame, because you didn't fold, because you chose to turn your pain into purpose. That's what makes your story worth telling. Not the easy parts, but the hard-won victory at the end. So whatever season you're in, whether you're tired, discouraged, confused, or just unsure, remember this. Your ending is not determined by how you started. Your breakthrough is not blocked by your breakdown. There is still something great inside of you. There is still a dream that can rise. There's still strength left in your hands and fire left in your heart. All you have to do is lean and finish. Don't waste another day waiting for the perfect moment. This is the moment. Right now, this is your chapter. This is your turn. This is your redemption arc. No matter how messy it's been, no matter how long it's taken, no matter how many times you fail, you're still in it. And as long as you're still in it, you can finish strong. Not just for the applause, not just for the recognition, but for the peace that comes when you know you gave it your all. For the joy of knowing you didn't give up on yourself. For the satisfaction of becoming who you were always meant to be. You have everything you need. The tools are in your hand. The fire is in your soul. Now it's time to use it. Time to rise. Time to run. Time to finish strong. Let your life speak louder than your past. Let your actions speak louder than your fears. Let your finish speak louder than your pain. Because in the end, that's what people will remember. Not the stumble, not the setback, but the strength of the one who never stopped moving forward. That person is you. Finish strong.